I don't want to make this video too close, and this is the type of stuff that make me not end up recording videos, because then I'll be like, it was too close, it's too if I look at somebody else's video. And this is the thief of our creativity, is comparing ourselves to other people. So first and foremost, my mic is acting crazy and it's cool. I'm just gonna flow without it, you know? But what I want to talk about is basically just taking inspired steps. Taking them whether you are scared, whether you don't know what to do, you don't know how the whole situation is going to turn out, but yet taking your inspired steps. It is not for us. If you are a true believer in a higher power and a higher source, it is not for me nor you to it is not for me or you to dictate what it is that the Most High wants to do in us, for us, or around us, period. You know, if you, any whatever your spiritual belief system is, it is not for us to decide what it is going to look like. It is continually up to us to say what it is that we're looking for, what it is that we want, and then trust that it is already done. One thing that I really try to point out to people is the things that you put the least amount of energy to, those are the things that seem like they manifest a lot easier and quicker, you know? Some of us don't even think twice about if we will have money to pay our cell phone bills. So guess what? We consistently have money to pay our cell phone bills. The same, you know, with your rent. You know, it's just certain things that a lot of us have said in our life, like, oh no, I'll never be homeless again. And I'm going to tell you now, I'll never be homeless again. And we have a faith that say, I don't care what go down, I bet I won't be homeless. The Most High gonna send somebody to me. Jah, Allah. They will send, it will be sending somebody to me, because this isn't my destiny. And the way that you have, so I want you to get like maybe 2 things in your mind that month after month after month you consistently have, whether it is your car, whether it is your job, your apartment, again I say your cell phone, so for some Netflix. Like, these things are just, you don't even have to think twice about it. And the less that you think about it, the more easily, or the easier that these things will manifest in your life. You feel me? So that is exactly how we have to do with the plan for ourselves. That is how we have to do with the plan for our life, or whatever our life goals may be. We have to set the plan and forget about it. But then from that moment, we have to take every inspired action. This right now for me is an inspired action. I feel it in my soul as I am sitting out here at the water with these beautiful coconut trees around right here. I am inspired right now to say that this trip out to Ghana, I'm going to be here it's not a long trip at all, but I am definitely knowing that this trip is so inspired. And forgive me if I'm yelling. I want to make sure that I'm getting my voice over and elevated over the waves. I don't want this to be a video that I cannot use. So that's that. But this trip, it was a lot of pieces to this. Like, it was a lot of pieces to this for me. And I kept being like, okay, what you going for? Like, girl, what? Now keep in mind my place, if you know that I rent a place here, so I have a place here consistently. This is home. My visits to America are the ones that should be only 1 month long. At the end of the day, that's crazy. If you knew any of my situations, well, I guess I wouldn't say it's crazy. It's just wow. Like, girl, what? But it's not for me to try to decide what's going to be and what's not going to be. It is for me to just take the inspired action and see where it goes. I have had at least 3 things to unfold for me since I've been here that I just keep being in awe. And if I had stayed in the U.S. this go around, I wouldn't see it. So I'm just very excited by the inspired action that I have taken. And that is all that I want to just kind of share with you. And I just want to encourage you. Those things look crazy. Sometimes you looking like, girl, where the money gonna come from? Brother, where the money is coming from? And sometimes you would think those things to yourself, but it's not for you to do the most. It is for you to trust that it's gonna show up and move from there. The thing though, let me touch on this real fast. What I found to be very annoying, as I was growing to a place of faith that I am today. Today's certain things, I just don't even think twice about it. As I'm coming back to as I was growing, but real fast. Before I had left and moved out here to Ghana, I sold all my stuff. You know, I still had some things in storage, like my things that are kind of keepsakes to my heart, if you will. But for the most part, I sold my car. I sold everything. I sold all my stuff. That being said, when I got back to America, I was never worried. I always knew that one of my clients was definitely a client or two would let me use a vehicle. And exactly as I saw that it was going to be, that's exactly how it went. And then when I gave my client back her car, I remember I had to take an Uber for like maybe 1 day, 2 days at the most, but I genuinely feel like it was one. But I had to take an Uber, and that day the Uber was $60 to and from work, 30 in, 30 out. And I remember saying, no, Most High, you got to open up a door and bless me. Do y'all know that a person who I had met off of Craigslist, maybe even 3 weeks before, it was so profound. I guess I'll say maybe a month before, but me and this man were kind of chatting and going back and forth. I had needed to get something fixed, and I ended up going with another person. But my spirit had said, because this man was so kind, he gave me all of the ways to figure out what I was trying to do. Because he was so kind, my spirit said, let me just dash him. That's what they say here when you just kind of giving somebody a blessing. Let me just give him, I just sent him $50, and I'll never forget that. And because of that, you know, I never forget him saying, wow, you really kept your word. You said you wanted to send me something small, and you did, and your small was bigger than what I ever thought it was going to be. And I was like, that's what's up, you know? So when I tell y'all looking for the car, so the guy, he came down into Denver, and he said, he was like, hey, I don't know if you're free tonight. Like, let's link up. I always told you that if I ever came down to Denver, I would just hit you and see. And this day I was like, okay, cool, you know. But we ended up this day, because I didn't have a car, I was like, okay, just meet me by the Buffalo Wild Wings by my job. And we kind of went with that. And I had walked, well, actually somebody dropped, my last client dropped me off. Neither here nor there. But when as soon as I sat down with him, I was like, hey, this is going to be super strange. I said, but do you have a car that I can get? And he was like, actually, I do. And when I tell y'all, just like that, the very next day he brought the car down to me, or it might have been, I feel like it was the next day, I think, or it flows so well because it was during my days off. It was beautiful. But yeah, literally within 2 days of me speaking, I will have a car. That was what showed up in my, that is what showed up in my atmosphere for me. The situation, everything that wrapped itself around. Same thing here in Ghana. My first time around, it didn't go exactly as I wanted it to go per se. But I'm still grateful that I built my own community here, you know? And a lot of these things really just came, whoa! A lot of these things really just came from taking inspired steps. So I can have about 1,000 more of these stories to give to y'all, but I won't. I just want to say, today, just be, when it feels inspiring or it feels like it's the next thing that you're supposed to do, just take the step, make that move. Don't wait, don't wonder, don't question, and just trust. Because guess what? The one thing that is sucky and that I hate, or that I hate that we think like, is that we could ever really do anything wrong. Listen, some of these things I would have never known that this was going to be like that if I didn't do it. I don't necessarily like what came of it, but it's all for the building of me. It's all for the good of me. Nothing, no thing is for naught. So in any situation, just take your inspired step and know that you good. You know, walk through this thing like you leaping on lily pads. Just do, 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 do. Know that you are good and just vibe, okay? I kept you a little long. No, I didn't. Peace, love, journey free. Journey light, forgive, and assess what you're doing with your day-to-day life, okay? Make sure you pull out your journal. Be about that life. Peace.